Yeah, it's on. Please be seated. So, good afternoon, everyone, our awardees, our scholarship winners, our donors, our friends, our staff, and our special guests. Welcome to today's ceremony where we will present the awards for the scholarships that have been granted so generously by our supporters this year. It's a wonderful thing because it's a recognition of the talent that we've got in front of us, and over the course of the afternoon we will see that talent and how that actually is reflected across the whole community that we have got. Anyone who's been to this event previously will know that I don't normally put this on, and I normally just wear a suit and come, but we are combining today's event with a very special matter where we're going to award an honorary degree to Henry Dimbleby. And I won't say too much about that now. That will be coming towards the end of this particular ceremony. But I am grateful to everyone who plays a role in enabling us to have such a scholarship program. It's I'm not going to ruin it by talking about how much was raised and other things that will come later. But the fact that so many of our students have been awarded scholarships is a real reflection of the talent that you demonstrate every day, but also your commitment to your subjects and your disciplines that you have. So I'm truly grateful to you for the effort you put in order to achieve them. I'm now going to hand over to our new chair of the Development Trust, Richard Hamilton. So if you could join me in welcoming Richard.
So I should start by saying that we're not expecting any fire alarm practices today. So should the fire alarm sound, please leave calmly by your nearest exit. There are exits behind me through the doors at either side of the stage and down the stairs, and also through the doors at the front of the hall where you came in and down the stairs. You should then head for the assembly point, which is the grassed area at the front of this building. I am so pleased to be able to announce our scholarship awards this year. I feel very privileged to have got to know so many of you during the interview process. Well done on all you have achieved so far. The team and I have also worked with our generous donors over the past year, and many thanks to you all. Your support really does change lives, and I'm delighted to see so many alumni amongst you. May I please request that at the end of the ceremony, once the procession has left, you take your seats for a final announcement, which will outline the rest of the afternoon. So without further ado, I will announce the awards, and our chair, Richard, will present the certificates to you or to the sponsors. So the ABN Scholarship is being presented by Bob Dixon to Millie van der Waal. The Alamo Group Scholarship is being presented to Joshua Clack by Ian Seaborn. To Shahrukh Hussain. And to Alice Anthank. I just want to add, if any of the sponsors wish to say a few words as well, you're very much invited to do so. The Ashby de la Zouch Agricultural Society Scholarship is being presented by Martin Adams. To Connor Fetz.
It's the show's mission to improve farming and anyone involved in farming. And once again, we've got two candidates this year. I think one's here. It's a good thing for us to do, to push farming and help people, because training is everything, and that's what you need to do. Well done, mate. Thank you.
The Gary Baker Award is being presented by Professor Bob Bansbach. To Gwenno Williams.
Just a few words. Congratulations, Gwenno. It was very hotly contested. You did well. The Gary Baker Award is presented by the Baker family. Gary was the son of the chair of one of the largest wheat companies in this country, and he died tragically at the age of 20, and he was scheduled to obviously take over the responsibility of the family farm. And the family decided that when he died, they wanted to have some memory of who he was and how he was progressing, and therefore the idea of a scholarship which should help some young person each year to progress their career was what they had in mind, and Gwenno's managed to do that. Well done.
The Barham Benevolent Foundation Scholarship is being presented by Richard Hambleton to Chloe Green. The Bayer MSc Scholarship is being presented by Peter Knoll. to Rachel Randalls. The Berkeley Agricultural Society Scholarship is being presented by Matthew Blaken. To Alfie Rumsey.
Yeah, once again, it's just a privilege to stand here as a trustee as well as a donor. We had a tremendous evening interviewing the candidates for the Berkeley Show Scholarship. Alfie was the fortunate winner, but there was 2 other extremely good candidates as well. And it just proves, as I've said before, I'll say it again just to reinforce the message, we all know that the future of agriculture industry is in very safe hands with all of you in front of us, because you are very confident, you have ability, and you will go out there and do well in the future, I'm sure. Thank you, and well done, Alfie.
The Berry World Group Scholarship is being presented by Tim Newton. To Sophie Strong.
So I'd just like to say, I think if you're going out now on middle year or you're finishing, you're going to meet some really good people, you're going to meet some good bosses, you're going to meet some average bosses, you're going to learn a lot from your average boss as much as you learn from a good boss. So, and you're going to have some rubbish days and some really good days. You'll learn as much from your rubbish days as you will your good days. So, just enjoy it. Thank you very much.
The Douglas Bomford Trust Scholarship is being presented by Richard Robinson. To Tom Edwards. To Jack Hewson. Elsa Marsh. Ben Middleton. Elan Williams. And Rodri Williams.
Can I just say a couple of words? That Douglas Bomford was an agricultural engineer. We look to you guys to bring agricultural engineering back into this country. Later on this year, we got a whole program with the Arkwright Trust and sponsored by Douglas Bomford Trust and the NFU to introduce young people to careers in agricultural engineering, which we desperately need. Thank you.
The British Poultry Council scholarships are being presented by Martin Troop. For Aviagen, to Alice Bothwell. William Gillespie. Sam McIntyre. Angharad Rees. And for Gressingham Foods, to George Hammond. For Moy Park, to Katie Simister. And to Beth Pickup.
recipients today and welcome you into our industry. The British poultry meat industry feeds, 50% of produces 50% of the meat that we eat within this country. It's very important. But the lifeblood, as will be echoed with, I'm sure, from many other speakers, those preceded me and those following me, is you. You are our lifeblood for the future. So please embrace the opportunities that are going to be presented to you in your companies, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you within the industry at a later date. Thank you very much.
The Butchers and Drovers Charitable Institution Undergraduate Bursary is being presented by Professor Bob Bansbach. To Aled Davis. To Laura Beaton. To Lydia Hopper. To Max Living. And to Lauren Connolly.
The BDCI firstly want to congratulate all our scholars. They also wanted to say how much they appreciate the work of Doris and her team in running all this, and also would like to add a thanks to all the lecturers who've been inspiring, helping, supporting the scholars here today, and particularly their scholars. Thank you.
The class scholarship is being presented by Jessica Goodchild. To Ben Middleton. To Molly Robson. And to Rodri Williams. The Clan Trust Scholarship will be presented by Richard Hambleton, as Richard Hurst unfortunately cannot be with us today. To Charlie Greaves. The Cogent Breeding Scholarship will be presented by Dr. Jodie Edmonds. To Harrison Smith. The Country Land and Business Association Charitable Trust Scholarship will be presented by Giles Bowring. To Emma Burgess. To Rhys Thomas. To Ben Lewis. To Elizabeth Walker. And to Catherine West. The George Crawford Legacy Trust Scholarship will be presented by Cameron Crawford. To Betty Batterby.
Afternoon, my name is Cameron Crawford, father of the late George Crawford, who was a student here. back in 2018. Unfortunately, his time was cut short due to a tragic accident in Newport. Life is what we make it, and we can't change what's happened, but we can change what is to come. We set up the George Crawford Legacy Trust to help individuals and groups achieve goals, targets, and dreams. We've raised over £250,000, and we've helped over 100 groups and individuals. One of the first awards we made was to a young local swimmer called Lucy Hope. This summer, she represents GB swimming at this summer's Olympic Games in Paris. This will be a second Olympic Games. Dreams do come true if you work hard enough. Life is what it is. Life is what you make it. It's not a trial run. The harder you work, the luckier you become. Enjoy your journey. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Onwards and upwards. Thank you.
The James Dale and Co. Scholarship has been presented by Fiona Dale. To Freddie Myatt. The Dunbeer Scholarship is being presented by Julia Hewden. To Bridget Morgan. The Forley Farms Final Year Scholarship is being presented by Richard Hambleton, as sadly Sally Stockings cannot be with us today. To Lucy Henry. The GSC Grace Scholarship is being presented by Richard to Rebecca Mills. Lily Yule, the HR and Recruitment Manager at GSC Grace, has asked me to read out a message. We are very much looking forward to Rebecca Mills joining us later this year. She will be an exceptional addition to the team in the Chester Street office, and we are thrilled to have her as our scholarship student. We would like to apologise for sadly not being able to attend the presentation on this occasion. However, we would like to thank everyone for arranging the presentation, and we hope the day is a success. The Harper Adams Club scholarships are being presented by Simon Jones. The Harper Adams Club Animal and Veterinary Sciences Scholarship is being presented to Molly Bradley. The Harper Adams Club Final Year Scholarship is being presented to Sophie Ascroft. The Harper Adams Club Postgraduate Scholarship to Emma Williams. And the Harper Adams Club President's Scholarship to Harry Parsons.
I think Doris knew I always wanted to say something. If there's a microphone and there's an audience, I'm there. First of all, congratulations to you all. You should be proud of your achievements here today. I know for a fact that everybody sat on that side of the room is very proud of you. Now, most of you, certainly some of you, will be leaving Harper soon. And when you do, on graduation, you'll automatically be enrolled to the University's Alumni Association, the Harper Adams Club. And so we'll be delighted to have you with thousands of ex-Harper students across the globe. And we just ask you to keep in touch. But I'm going to say another couple of things, which is keep working hard, because it really does pay off. Keep pushing yourself to do things, and go places that you never thought possible. And I know that many of you will have applied for these scholarships thinking that it wasn't possible and gone to interviews doubting your own confidence, and look, you've excelled. As I said, keep in touch. And finally, and this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say today, when and if you can, just remember a little bit further down the road, just give a little bit back. Thank you.
The Harper, Adams and Ireland scholarships are being presented by Professor Ken Sloan, the Vice-Chancellor. Alltech Ireland to Sam McIntyre. Devonish Nutrition to Grace Brown. The Vaughan Trust Scholarship and the Vaughan Trust Bursary to Emer Dunn. The Vaughan Trust Bursary in absentia, because he's currently on placement, to John Armstrong. Also to Stephanie Jones. And to Leah McDermott. The John Hepworth Scholarship is being presented by Nick Cover. To Seth Burns. And to Lucinda Knott.
Just in the spirit of alumni is giving back, I just wanted to say a big thank you to John Hepworth. He's an individual, a farmer up in East Yorkshire now in his 80s, but he was an undergraduate here once, and he's been giving back to Harper for 14 years, I think it is, that he's been running a scholarship. This is the final year he's doing it, but he's helped out 23 students in that time with a very generous scholarship. So I just want to say a big thank you to John. And just it's just a lovely example of someone giving back, having been here as an undergraduate in their time. Okay.
Thanks. The Clyde Higgs Scholarships, which are funded by the Elizabeth Creek Charitable Trust, will be presented by Nick Abel. The Clyde Higgs MSc Scholarship to Joel Andrews. And to Hannah Jackson. The Clyde Higgs Undergraduate Scholarship to Grace Evans. To Lucy Fowler. To Ben Lewis. To Tash McDonough. To Harry Parsons. And to Catherine West.
As I was driving here this morning, there was a piece on the radio that specifically spoke about just how hard it is now for students to fund themselves through higher education. So I'm sure I speak on behalf of every sponsor and donor here today to say what an immense privilege it is to be able to help people get their foothold into careers that they are so passionate about. So congratulations to all and good luck.
The David James Scholarship will be presented by Matthew Blaken. To Tyrion Lloyd.
Just to say, this is the first year we've upgraded our Philanthropic Award to a graduate placement, and we're delighted to have secured Tyrion for a year's placement. Look forward to her joining us in a few weeks' time. Thank you.
The JCB Scholarship will be presented by Lacey Collins. The Business Scholarship to Katie Powell. The Engineering Scholarship to Tristan Brown. And the Final Year Scholarship to Ellie Huxley. The German Scholarship will be presented by Richard Hambleton to Ellen Davis. To Grace Evans. To Millie McAvoy-Jones. To Tilly Owens. To Neris Parry. To Angharad Rees. And to James Sayce. The JMW Farms Limited Scholarship will be presented by Anya Green. To Mark Gibson. The Jones's Village Bakery Scholarship will be presented by Jason Page. To Amelia Lewis. The Kildare Charitable Trust Scholarship will be presented by Ian Smith. To Daisy Jones. To Lauren Jones. To Alicia Morgan. To Elisa Connor. In absentia to Bertie Phillips and also to Alice Anthank.
Congratulations to all those winners and everyone here today. The Kildare Trust was set up and funded by a farmer, Mrs. Phyllis Richards, who died just a few years ago at the age of 100. And she was a great fan of Harper and was delighted with the students that we've supported and would be delighted as well. Mrs. Richards didn't like faffing around and waste, so she left us very strict instructions that we should get on with it and spend the money. And next year we'll be winding up the Kildare Trust, but I'm delighted in the last 12 months we've granted a lasting endowment to Harper so that the Kildare scholarships will go on in perpetuity. So well done, everyone.
The Duchy of Lancaster Agriculture and the Environment Scholarship will be presented by Lydia Richards. To Emma Burgess. The Duchy of Lancaster Rural Land Management Scholarship to Dara Hunter-Blair.
A few words, please, just to say thank you very much. I'm so pleased to be here at Harper Adams on behalf of the Duchy of Lancaster, presenting these very well-deserved awards to Dara and Emma. As some of you may know, the Duchy of Lancaster has a unique portfolio of land, property and assets managed in trust on behalf of the Sovereign. And over the years, we have employed several Harper Adams University graduates due to their high standards. So just congratulations again to Dara, who will be joining us as a rural graduate surveyor in September, and to Emma. Well done.
The David Lawson Scholarship will be presented by Dr. Alistair Lawson. To Oliver Robertson.
Thank you, Doris, and thank you to the Development Trust, to all the hard work that Caroline and Alison do to help us and support the sponsors. And special thanks to Doris, yourself, and to Palmjit for once again selecting a really worthy winner of the David Lawson Scholarship. So well done, Oliver, and I look forward to having a chat with you later. You know, this is a really pivotal moment in agriculture, and there's so many opportunities that are arising for you all. And I really encourage you to build on what you've all learned here and create the future. And I wish you all every success. Thank you.
The Lely Atlantic Scholarship will be presented by Stuart McAllister. To Harry Rigby.
Yeah, so Lally, as a company that believes in engineering and innovation, I'm really proud to be here today in front of everyone, investing in the future of agriculture. I think if Harry is anything to go by, everyone has an incredibly bright future in the industry with us. So thank you.
The Lord Leverhulme Charitable Trust Scholarship will be presented by Richard Hambleton. To Anne Cooper. To Katie Jackson. To Millie McAvoy-Jones. To Niamh McGrath. To Ewan Ramsey. And to Mia Sher. The John Longwell Agricultural Scheme Scholarship will be presented by Charles Clark. To Amy Barnacle. To Lewis Danmore. To Will Hallam. In absentia to Georgie Harrison, and also to Imogen Isherwood. To Emily Sturgis Bowes. And to Millie Walters.
Thank you. Congratulations to everybody.
The Loxley Scholarship will be presented by Andrew Baskerville. To Georgie Lee. The May Smith Scholarship will be presented by Richard to Williams Edwards Hanley. Well done. To Katie Goodman. And to Isabeau Manley. The Mercer Charitable Foundation scholarships supported by Mercer Farming, which are open to all course areas, are being presented by Richard, as Roger sadly can't be with us. The Mercer Competitive Scholarship to Megan Bezick. And to Ed Fuller. The Mercer Open Scholarship to Ben McFarling. The Millie Chope Foundation Scholarship will be presented by Richard to Maisie Bell. To Asia Law. And to Tyrion Lloyd. The Minor, Weir and Willis Scholarship will be presented by David Alder. To Molly Minshall. The Newport and District Agricultural Society Scholarship will be presented by John Goff. To Fran Fryer-Smith.
I will say a few words. I've been to a few of these and I've always stepped back from saying, I think it's about time that I stepped to the mark. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate you all for gaining your scholarships today. A great achievement to you all. And spend your money well, but spend your time well is a motive I would pass on. I'd also particularly like to thank Doris and the development team for the exceptional work they do and for facilitating this great event and allowing us as an agricultural society to pick such worthy scholars we've had over the years, and people we're very proud to say that we've still have strong relationships with, that makes it a very worthy cause to us to see young people grow and progress into agriculture, and we're proud to support them. So good luck to you all as you move on.
The North of Wark Scholarship will be presented by Clark Willis. To Tom Ewan.
I'd like to congratulate Harper Adams for the work that it's doing in sustainability and environmental land management. They were two words when 50 years ago, literally to the year, I graduated here from Harper. And it's great to see that Harper is leading in terms of institutions now looking at this. And what it shows is that all of the candidates that came forward, and we had some really good candidates, the team had a really difficult job in finding one. And Tom is joining us, but I see the others have actually gained scholarships with others, so I'm really pleased about that. Thank you.
The John Oldacre Foundation undergraduate and postgraduate awards are being awarded by a number of academic colleagues. The John Oldacre Harper Adams University PhD Scholarship is being presented by Vasil Pogozliev. To Stephen Evans. And to Hannah Scott Cook. In absentia, the John Oldacre Silcock Fellowship to Clorinda Graham. And the John Oldacre MSc Scholarship, which is being much funded by the Development Trust, will be presented by Richard Hambleton to Joel Andrews. And to Hasham Khan. The John Oldacre MSc Scholarship, much funded by the legacy of alumnus John Wright, will be presented by his niece, Wendy Bill. To Dan Mitchell.
Thank you, Doris. My uncle, John Wright, was a student here in the early 1950s, and at that time, what he learned and brought back to our farm dramatically changed the way our farm was run, just as many of you will do the same for businesses and farms at the moment where dramatic change is going on. I want to congratulate Dan, but to congratulate you all as well for achieving your scholarships, and wish you all the very best in your careers.
The John Oldacre Undergraduate Scholarship, which is being much funded by the legacy of Jill Willows, is being presented by Richard to Nina Purifoy. The Organic Farmers and Growers CIC Scholarship is being presented by Charles Pearce. To Joel Andrews.
I just briefly want to say congratulations, but really this is awarded in memory of a colleague of mine, Bill Adams, who sadly died some time ago, but his main aim in life was to help others, particularly young people, and in agriculture. He would think nothing of driving 200 miles to look at a beast and come back again. He was that sort of man, and then when he was on holiday, he went out to Croatia to help the orphans out there. So it's for Bill Allen.
The Oxbury Scholarship is being presented by Hannah Gainford. To Grace Evans. And to Yasmin Hay. The Pathway Farming Scholarship is being presented by Stephanie Hay. To Rebecca Geary. And to Katie Paget. The Pig Industry Scholarships supported by AHDB Pork are being presented by Hugh Crabtree. For Cargill in absentia to Alicia Jones. For Cranswick Agriculture to Gabby Nicholson. Agriculture Technical to Charlotte Hall. And to Alex Potter. Red Tractor to Daisy Cooper. And for Yorkshire Farmers Livestock Marketing Limited to Emma Holmes.
Well, what an honour it is for this industry old fart to be stood in front of you people. I've been involved with the Pig Industry Scholarship Programme since its inception just over 10 years ago, and we're going to celebrate the 10th anniversary at the British Pig and Poultry Fair next week with a small party. It's been a real privilege to work with the Development Trust here at Harper, and the sheer professionalism of Doris and her team, laced with oodles of charm and the ability to communicate wonderfully with potential employing companies, has been a joy to watch. My personal congratulations and welcome to the pig industry scholars who I've just presented. Welcome to the sector. We followed in the footsteps of the poultry industry 10 years ago, and the allied industry group of the National Pig Association, who I should also mention are supporting this programme, realised we had to get on, recognise and interest and excite new talent to come into our sector. Nobody else was going to do it but us. And I always say to the sponsoring companies, remember, this is a competitive market. You may think that students are coming to you with something to sell. It's quite the other way around. We have to sell the sector to bright, talented people who are looking to make a go of it in this challenging world in which we live. Thank you very much, you students who are joining the pig industry, and with one exception that I've met today, most are still in the sector. So be prepared to become a lifer like me and enjoy your ride. Thanks a lot.
The Pilgrims Agriculture BQP Scholarship is being presented by Rachel Newstead. To Audrey Venice. And to Alexander Knight. And presented by Mark Vining. To Tony Bagley. The Henry Plum Foundation RASC 2024 PhD Scholarship is being presented by Richard Hambleton to Stephen Evans. The Shropshire Provincial Grand Lodge Scholarship is being presented by Jonathan Stubbs to Shannon Cox. And to Leonie Ward.
Just very quickly, the Freemasons of Shropshire congratulate both our scholars and have enjoyed the opportunity of supporting Harper Adams. Thank you.
The Rabobank Postgraduate Scholarships are being presented by Richard Hambleton to Joe Collins, to Anna Prada Barrio, to Hannah Scott Cook, and to Amy Tonks. The Royal Entomological Society MSc Scholarship will be presented by Simon Ward. To Shana Broadhurst. To Ella Curry. and to Bethany Wright.
I was just going to say a massive well done to the three scholars, but also the government have just finished a big call for evidence around insect decline and food security, and highlighted again the real importance and the vulnerability of entomological and insect science skills in the sector. So huge well done to those three, and we look forward to seeing your careers progress. Thank you.
The Sanctuary Scholarship will be presented by Richard Hambleton to Abdul Hakim Kazimi. The Shropshire Chamber of Agriculture Scholarship will be presented by Peter Ward to Elsa Marsh. The Staffordshire and Birmingham Agricultural Society Scholarships will be presented by Richard to Megan Besick. To Daniel Bowers. To Tom Edwards. To Beth Pickup. To Katie Simister. And to Vida Thorpe. The Studley College Trust Scholarship will be presented by Emeritus Professor Peter Mills. To Lucy Amos. To Sam Hannaford. To Megan Harvey. To Rachel Kellett. To Kirsty Naismith. To Brendan Quinn. And to Kim Stearman.
As a former member of staff, I am delighted to be here again to see so many old friends and former colleagues. But as trustee, I'm also delighted that we've been able to support such an able group of scholars today. So well done to all of you. And just to say thank you for the letters that you've written. Those are really important. And obviously I'm able to share those with other trustees. And it is possible for other trustees to see exactly who they are supporting and why. So well done. Great group of letters, and well done on the scholarships.
The Syngenta Scholarship will be presented by Simon Gardiner. To Kirsty Naismith. The UPL Scholarship will be presented by Emily Pineda Sampson. To Esme Beer Brown. And to James Lockhart. Court Scholarship will be presented by Jonathan Kerr. Arable to Archie Webb. And to Ross Reed. Dairy to Henry Gibson. And Ellie King. The Jill Willows Scholarship will be presented by Richard Hambleton to Isabel Hinton, in absentia to Zara Hogan, but also to Isaac Jinks, to Ryan Liggett, to Tilly Owens, and to Harry Parsons. The Worshipful Company of Butchers Scholarship will be presented by Professor Bob Bansbach to Victoria Oxtoby. The Worshipful Company of Poulters Scholarship will be presented by Benjamin Browning to Beth Pickup.
First of all, I'd like to thank Harper Adams for asking me here today. It's very good of you. I thought I made a complete hash of it last year, so I'm very much reassured. I am, however, very acutely aware that I come as a second to last in a pretty long list of very talented people. So I feel really rather like one of those out-of-date boxes of chocolates and the last item on the raffle table, so I will be brief. What I would suggest to you all is remember that today's cutting edge is tomorrow's run-of-the-mill. So I would thoroughly encourage you all to go out there and break some rules, despite what some of your academic staff may tell you, because by breaking rules you will learn so much. I do hope I don't get a bill from your domestic bursar in the next few weeks, having said that. So particularly on the day when the Garrett Club finally admits women to their number, I would like to say that on behalf of people like the Worshipful Company of Poulters, the person who presents the prize before me, the Professor Bob Banswick, from the Worshipful Company of Butchers, you know, we do welcome people from all areas, and particularly yourselves who have a great interest in the poultry industry and the food industry. So please do come and talk to us and ask about it. We welcome you with open arms. Thank you very much.
The Wilson Raid Scholarship will be presented by Susan Dugan to Emma Dunn, to Phoebe Scott, and to Tash McDonough.
It's a bit daunting, to be honest. This is my first scholarship presentation as the chairman of the Development Trust. And so a couple of years ago, or perhaps a few more, I was sitting where you're sitting. And so now it is daunting, but look on the bright side, you might be here being nervous next time. It's a great pleasure that I welcome you all to this year's scholarship presentations. To celebrate our scholars' achievements and to thank our generous sponsors. Today we're holding the Development Trust's 18th scholarship presentation.
And I'm delighted to tell you that we've awarded 178 scholarships, a record total value of over £600,000 shared between 148 students. The Development Trust team processed 654 applications and 317 students have been interviewed. So congratulations to all of you. These scholarships take a variety of forms. They can help with tuition fees. They can help with scholarships accompanying paid placements. They can support finalist students, and in some instances, employment upon graduating. The awards are highly competitive, and the scholars had to work hard to be successful. Having been involved in some of the interviews, I can say that our students really are an inspiration, who never cease to amaze me, and I mean that, don't. And I am confident that the future of the agri-food industry is in very good hands. Therefore, I would like to give my sincere thanks to all our sponsors, whose support to our students at the very start of their careers is simply invaluable. Many of our sponsors have been involved in the scholarship program for a number of years, and we are grateful for your loyalty. But we are delighted that we have also welcomed 13 new scholarships this year. All of your support is highly appreciated. And our thanks, and a very personal and sincere thanks from me, go to our Development Trust team. Doris Taylor, Head of Development, Alison Haycox and Caroline Mason, who worked hard to ensure the continued success of the Development Trust. Thank you once again, and many congratulations to all of our scholars. Congratulations.
So for the final part of today's ceremony, I call upon Professor David Rose, who will serve as orator for the award of an honorary degree.
I promise you the pouring of water does not imply I'm going to be very long, but graduation robes weren't made for over 20 degrees, so for all of you graduating in September, I'd hope not for a warm day, although I think the Harper robes might be a bit thinner. It's a great honour today to be asked to say a few words in recognition of Henry Dimbleby's achievements. Achievements which I'm sure have inspired all of us in the room who care about making agri-food systems more sustainable. Whether our focus is on food production, either on traditional farmland or the development of new food or better processing techniques, or on humans helping food producers to adapt to changing policies, to increase food security, and encourage our population to eat healthier, or on non-humans exploring how to enhance biodiversity, achieve net zero, farm more regeneratively, and protect animal health and welfare. Most of us come to Harper each day wanting to make agri-food systems more sustainable. And some of the biggest problems communities face around the world, including in the UK, are related to food. The NHS, for example, which will be a key battleground in the upcoming election, will hear political parties identify lack of funding or bureaucracy as the source of all of its problems. But we know in this room that the NHS was not designed to cope with the chronic ill health, obesity, diabetes, cancers, some of which can be directly linked back to our relationship with food. Or we could identify challenges people face to access healthy food, to afford healthy food. That has led to a situation in which food producers feel unfairly compensated for their efforts, while the Trussell Trust and other organisations, including those local to Harper, distribute millions of food parcels to people each year. So our work to make food systems more sustainable for people, production and the planet is assisted when individuals provide the thought leadership and policy action needed to create the conditions for transformation. Henry is a fine example of such a person who has devoted many years of his life to making agri-food systems more sustainable. In this very brief speech, I don't have the time to cover all of your achievements, Henry's achievements.
Many of you will know his role in establishing Leon, serving healthier and more sustainable fast food to people rushing through life, and his role in co-founding the Sustainable Restaurant Association, which aims to promote sustainability in the food service industry. But I wanted specifically to highlight 3 pieces of work today, which have either led to or will in time lead to more sustainable agri-food systems. The first relates to his work alongside Leon co-founder John Vinson to ensure that all of our children have greater access to the food needed to promote healthy bodies and minds, and there is little more important than that. His work now more than 10 years ago on the National School Food Plan emphasised the importance of nutritional standards, food education, access and availability to healthy food regardless of socio-economic background. And that was a highly influential piece of work, which since 2014 has led to the introduction of universal free school meals for children in state schools of a certain age, last year feeding around 2 million students, or 25% of students in state school, as well as stricter guidelines for schools on nutrition, food education, and encouraging them to source locally and sustainably. Next, I turn to this document that many in this room will have read. I'm going to ask Henry to do book signing by the time I'm finished. The National Food Strategy, which will no doubt be taken very seriously by a potential fresh pair of eyes after the next election. Now, I hope we can all recite its 14 recommendations to enhance the sustainability of agri-food systems, although don't test me on them now. This was a wide-ranging piece of work that explored how food systems could be better designed to disincentivize access to unhealthy food and to promote access to healthier food, particularly for low-income families. Looking at building on the successes of the National Food School Plan by increasing access to free school meals, as well as looking at how food is produced and how land could be used more sustainably to do that. Looking at supporting farm transitions, creating a rural land use framework, and supporting innovation. And bold ideas were put forward by Henry and his team to challenge our thinking about how we use land, how we produce food, and how we can support fair transitions, which I know is inspiring much of the work we do at Harper. Now, lastly, I turn to Ravenous, a book co-written by his wife, Jemima Lewis, that builds on the work I've just outlined and forces us to confront our unhealthy relationship with food, particularly ultra-processed food. Why, for example, do 28% of us now clinically obese compared to 1% in 1950? Why are over 3 million people located over 15 minutes away by public transport from a shop selling fresh ingredients, but surrounded by a myriad of takeaway options? Would dietary transitions, a change in what we eat, and a review of how we use land enable us to achieve more sustainable transitions? These questions and many more are discussed incisively throughout this book. So lastly, crucially, as Henry and Jemima do in this book, and as Henry has done throughout his career, he's enabled all of us, academics, policymakers, food producers, industry groups, consumers, to confront difficult questions, helping us to challenge our assumptions and consider new and disruptive ideas. In doing so, your work, has been instrumental in all of our efforts to make agri-food systems more sustainable, and we look forward to both helping his future work and enacting on the challenges that he's forced us to confront. So, Vice-Chancellor, I present to you for admission to the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, Henry Dimbleby. I'll leave those there in case you forgot.
Thank goodness. Thank you very much. It's a bit like being at your funeral, except you have to stand up rather than lie down, which makes it somewhat worse. And then you have to make a speech. I check in occasionally on our robot overlords to see how close they are to taking over completely. And I asked ChatGPT this morning whether it could give me an opening line for the speech. It said, how about starting your speech with something like this? As I stand here at Harper Adams receiving an honorary doctorate in a place known for cutting-edge agricultural education, I can't help but wonder, does this mean I can officially call myself a cultivated individual now? Let's hope I can grow into the role. This is a light-hearted joke which ties in the university's agricultural focus with the honour you're receiving, setting a cheerful tone for your speech, exclamation mark. So I think we're okay for the moment. I think we've got a few more years, but I always say please and thank you to the robot overlords when I use ChatGPT, just so when the time comes, I'll be one of the ones who gets spared. It's extraordinarily exciting and a great honour to receive this doctorate from Harper Adams. It is a university that has sat in the middle of actually 120, 30 odd year agricultural transition. This is an ongoing thing. And I think it's sometimes we forget amid the kind of some of the harms that the current food system that we have creates, that it is actually a miracle. If you go back to 1945, just after the Second World War, 44 years into Harper Adams' existence, and you look back at the newspapers of the time, late 40s, early 50s, they are full of headlines about Malthusian collapse. The scientists at the time had looked forward, they'd seen how improvements in sanitation and healthcare were likely to lead the population of the planet rising from 2.8 billion, which it was at the time, to 8 billion in 50 or so years. And they worked out that up until that point in human history, when we had grown the population, we had simply dug up more land to plant more food. And what they spotted was there wasn't any land left. And so that was one of the, that and nuclear weapons were the two kind of existential concerns that existed in the late 40s and early 50s. What the scientists had not reckoned on was, among others, a scientist called Norman Borlaug, who I'm sure, I am standing in a room, he's probably the most important man that almost no one's heard of, but I'm probably standing in a room where a significant percentage of you have heard of him. He's obviously the botanist, grew up in Idaho during the Great Depression, saw hunger close up, set himself in his career on a mission to improve agriculture, to improve the yield you could get from crops, found himself sent by the Rockefeller Foundation to Mexico towards the end of the Second World War, and he wrote back to his wife that the places, what he had seen had clubbed his mind. He said, the soil here is so poor, these people, these subsistence farmers are hardly existing. They aren't living lives. He said, I don't know what to do, but we have to do something. And what he did was he decided to try and breed a new form of wheat. And he set up two research bases, one by the coast, one up in the mountains so he could get 2 harvests a year. He scuttled between the two, literally himself breeding thousands of plants by hand, cutting off the stamen, tapping in the pollen, putting little paper cups around the florets. The Mexican farmers thought he was completely insane. He used to sleep on the floor of his research hut. But he managed through persistence, and he would agree luck, to create a new strain of wheat that was wheat rust resistant, that was short-stemmed, so it didn't lodge in strong breezes. And he'd managed, I mean, I haven't yet managed to find the story behind this. He heard about a short-stem wheat that a botanist in Japan was growing, and during the war managed to get a sample of those seeds, take from Japan to Mexico to create this new wheat. And when combined with modern irrigation and nitrogen from the Harper-Bosch process, this wheat was much, much more productive than the existing wheats. When he arrived in Mexico, it was importing half his wheat. By the time he left in the 1960s, it was exporting wheat. It had enough wheat to feed the population. It was an extraordinary success, and that success was repeated for rice and for maize, and we now produce twice the number of calories from actually slightly less land in 1945, because when Russia fell apart, a lot of collectivized farming on very marginal land came out of production, than we did in 1945, twice the number of calories per person for 8 billion people than we did in 1945 from 2.8 billion people. I mean, it's an extraordinary success. We say in the book, he looked a bit like, if there'd been a biopic of him, he would have been played by Jimmy Stewart. He was rather handsome, had a good square jaw, all-American teeth with no wonkiness. But there wasn't a biopic of him because no one, except for agricultural students and the odd obsessive generalist, knows about him, because he stopped a problem happening rather than solving problems. But what he wasn't and couldn't realize at the time was that what he was doing, when you solve one problem, you often cause other problems. And the food system that we have now is not only by far the biggest cause of biodiversity decline, it's the biggest cause of deforestation, it's the biggest cause of freshwater stress, freshwater pollution, soil degradation, the collapse of aquatic life, and after energy, it's the second biggest form of climate change, creating 20 to 30% globally of greenhouse gases. In this country, agriculture alone produces 12% of our greenhouse gases, but by 2035, DEFRA thinks that's going to be 50% because the rest of the economy is rapidly decarbonising and agriculture isn't. So where you see now people just waking up to the food system being a problem. It's incredible that in COP in Glasgow, which was meant to be the biodiversity COP in 2018, food wasn't even mentioned. In Dubai, food was front and centre when they were talking about biodiversity and carbon. Over your careers in the next 15 years, that is only going to intensify. And it's not only the environment that's causing problem food, it's also our health. Food is now by far globally the biggest cause of avoidable ill health. In the UK, it's going to cost us more by 2035 to treat type 2 diabetes, which is one form of food-related disease, that it costs us to treat all cancers today. And so if that doesn't get fixed, what happens is the NHS sucks in the money from everywhere else because we can't let it go down. We become less productive. Food is now the biggest cause of the reason that 2.8 million people are out of work in the UK long-term sick. And we end up both sick and impoverished. So we're getting to a stage where the industry that you have just joined, which is responsible for 12% of global GDP and employs over a third of the people are realizing that needs to transition completely over the course of your careers. The UN recently estimated that of the totally food, we spend about $12 trillion a year on food, and it does about $12.7 trillion of harm. So the true cost of food is about twice what we pay for it. So there you go. It's an exciting challenge for you. If you are sitting here thinking, "Oh fuck," and thinking, "Why have I been left in this mess? Like, why have these guys? They've come along, and we have to clear it all up. The hardest is yet to come." I would say two things. First of all, we have done this before, so. You know, the problem that Borlaug faced and we faced in 1945 was just as great as the problem we face now. And with the application both of old science and of what we're now learning about regenerative farming, the complexity of soil, the interaction of ecosystems, and how nitrogen can cycle in a more effective way if we learn a bit from nature as well as from the agronomists, and crop genetics, AI, drones, robots, improved agriculture. I believe that we can solve this. And what that means is that your careers, as this becomes more and more valuable, are going to become more and more valuable. You are going to be more and more in need. I think that the second thing is that you are walking into now a culture war. So out there on Twitter, food Twitter, you might be in little Harper Adams bubbles, but general food Twitter, it's a vicious and bloody place. Whether you're talking about meat or alternative protein or what is regenerative agriculture, there are people out there who are willing to kill in this culture war. And I think that the one thing I would ask you as you go about this career is to bring your knowledge to bring those sides together. The writer Charles C. Mann, there's an absolutely wonderful book called The Wizard and the Prophet, and it's about the tribes, it's about the beginning of environmentalism and how there was one camp who were saying we need to go back to the way we used to do things before, we need to be more spiritual, we need to be in touch with nature. And there was another group who were saying, no, what was it that Matt Damon says in The Astronaut? We need to science the shit out of it or something. We need to just like put more and more science. And Mann writes of these two groups. He calls the wizards the scientists and the prophets the kind of environmentalists. He says, wizards view the prophet's emphasis on cutting back as intellectually dishonest, indifferent to the poor, even racist, because most of the world's hungry and non-Caucasian, writes Mann. Following this route, they believe, is a path towards regression, narrowness, and global poverty. In return, prophets sneer that the wizard's faith in human resourcefulness is unthinking, scientifically ignorant, even driven by greed, because remaining within ecological limits will cut into corporate profits. Following this route, they say, at best postpones an inevitable day of reckoning. It is a recipe for what activists have come to describe as ecocide. As the name-calling has escalated, conversations about the environment have increasingly become dialogues of the deaf, which might be all right if we weren't discussing the fate of our children. So your job in this world, in this increasingly valuable world, is with your knowledge, your passion, your education, to bring these groups together and lead us to a better world. And if you are thinking, why us? You got us into this mess. I've got bad news for you. When you solve this problem, which we need to solve within your careers, we need to solve probably within the next 20, 30 years, and you have children, they'll almost certainly be blaming you for a problem that they are then going to have to go on and fix, because that is the cycle of human life. But really, I thought it was so thrilling and touching and exciting to see you all here getting these awards, and just the world is going to be a better place with this burst of talent heading out into it. So thank you very much indeed for having me here today. Thank you.
So I don't know whether you feel optimistic or terrified at what Henry has said, but I think that intergenerational pact where you have to leave behind a situation which you hope is going to be better for your children, I think some parts of the generation that I'm in have forgotten that pact, and I think it's about time that we caught up. But I'm hugely excited to see the impact that you will have when you go out into industry and you go out into the world. As we bring today's event to a close, just a few thanks from me. Firstly, to thank our donors and our supporters, that we would not be here having this event without you. So thank you not only for the gifts that you have given to enable us to support our students, but also the fact that you come, so many of you come and actually present them yourselves. Really thank you from all of us for that. Thank you to Richard and the Development Trust for what you do to curate and support and actually get out there and help us find potential supporters and donors. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you so much, and all the best to Richard as he takes the mantle on in his first year. Thank you to Doris and to Alison and to Caroline for just the dedication that you give to this particular task. It isn't just about contacting companies and foundations and individuals. It's also about helping to select the students who are beneficiaries of it. And I suppose I want to end where Simon from the Harper Club, Simon Jones, said before. To some extent, we all have the opportunity to reach back to the generation before us and do something to make their life easier and to make their life better. And every one of you here is benefiting from the fact that somebody has done that. Somebody has thought about how to make sure that we have the talent and the generation of people to go out and have a positive impact and take head on those challenges that Henry has laid out to us. And that generosity has been reflected. But it's on all of us to remember the people who helped us and then be willing to look back in our careers and do the same. So I would encourage all of you as beneficiaries that when you are later in your career and you're thinking about what to do, remember there will be another generation of Harper Adams students coming up behind you, and anything that you will be able to do through your companies and through the organisations you connect to will be greatly appreciated in supporting a future generation going on. So as we end this afternoon, we're going to have a formal moment whilst the procession leaves. So I'll ask you to stand for that. Then please sit again, and Doris will come up and tell you what's going to happen. Do not disappear. You have photographs and various other things to go on, but we'll get the formal bit out of the way, and then you'll be able to celebrate for the rest of the afternoon. Thanks very much.